The war was over. The loud guns had fallen silent. Stars were calm again. The humans had won. Many believed the Zellery Empire was too strong, too powerful to be beaten. But Earth soldiers had fought with heart. At the end, their leader, Commander Jace Thorn, stood tall. The Zellery king was forced to kneel. His great fleet lay broken. The warships burned or drifted in space. The humans had taken the upper hand. Victory belonged to them, as a sign of respect and surrender. The Zellery offered a reward to Commander Thorn. It was a tradition in their culture. When a war ended, the victor could choose anything from the defeated rulers as a prize. It could be treasure, technology, or even a member of the royal family. Everyone waited eagerly. Zellery officers and soldiers watched Jace. They expected him to pick something valuable, something powerful, maybe a weapon to help Earth, or a princess, to strengthen the peace. But Jace surprised them all. He walked slowly through the grand hall of the Zellery palace. His boots made no noise on the polished floor. Around him, Zellery nobles and soldiers whispered. Their eyes followed his every step. Then he stopped before a group of 3 alien girls. They looked like princesses dressed in silks and glowing jewelry. 2 of them stood proud and tall, their eyes sharp and strong, but the third was small and weak. Her skin was pale, almost translucent. She had dark circles under her eyes and held herself quietly in the corner. This was Princess Sarah, the youngest daughter of the Zellery king. She never spoke. She never smiled. Many called her useless, a burden to the royal family. Some said she was sick and would not live long. Jace looked at her closely. His dark eyes were steady and calm. Without saying a word, he pointed to Sarah. A hush fell over the room. Shock and confusion rippled through the crowd. The Zellery nobles gasped. Soldiers looked at each other. The other 2 princesses froze, eyes wide with surprise. Commander Thorn, you choose the weakest princess? The Zellery king finally said, his voice low and filled with disbelief. Why her? Why not someone stronger? Someone worthy of this reward? Jace's face was calm. He knelt down beside Sarah. She did not move. He spoke softly, so only she could hear. You don't see it, but I do, he said quietly. You're not weak. You are hidden. Sarah blinked once. No one heard her answer. The Zellery king frowned deeply. This is madness. You must take back your choice. But Jace shook his head. She is mine. I choose her. The hall filled with whispers. Some laughed quietly. Others frowned. Even the humans who watched were surprised. Why pick a fragile alien princess with no power? Why not pick riches or weapons? Jace knew what he was doing. He had seen something in Sarah's eyes that no one else did. Something strong. Something waiting to be free. After the ceremony, Jace took Sarah to his ship. The other soldiers looked at her with curiosity and doubt. The princess was small and quiet. She moved slowly, almost like she was tired. Her pale skin seemed almost fragile under the bright ship lights. Jace spoke to her gently. You are safe now. Sarah did not speak. She looked down at her hands. The ship's doctor came to see her. He checked her pulse and temperature. She is weak, he said. You must watch her carefully. Jace nodded. But he did not look. Worried, he believed she was stronger than anyone thought. For days, Sarah stayed silent. She ate little and rarely looked up. The crew tried to talk to her, but she gave no answer. Jace stayed close. He sat beside her during meals and watched over her while she rested. One night, Jace found Sarah standing by the ship's window. The stars stretched out endlessly. She traced her fingers on the glass, drawing strange glowing shapes. The patterns were strange and beautiful, but no one understood them. Jace asked, "What are you doing?" Sarah looked at him with tired eyes. Then, for the first time, she spoke. "I remember fire and stars screaming." Jace felt a chill. Her voice was soft, but it carried a weight. It was as if she remembered things no one else could. The next day, something strange happened. The ship entered a dangerous asteroid field. The sensors blinked warnings. The ship's engines struggled. Suddenly, the ship's power flickered. Alarms blared. The crew panicked. Jace tried to steady the situation. But the ship's control systems were failing. Then, from the corner of the bridge, Syrah moved. Moved. To the main control panel. Her pale hands touched the glowing buttons. The lights on the panel changed color. The flickering stopped. The engine stabilized. The crew stared in disbelief. The weak princess had saved the ship. Jace looked at her. With new respect, "You have power," he said. "Power you have not yet learned to use." Syrah smiled slightly for the first time. But their journey was far from over. News of Jace's choice spread quickly across the galaxy. Some humans praised him for his wisdom. Others doubted his judgment. The Zellery Empire was not happy. Many believed Syrah should never have left their home. The nobles whispered that Jace had made a terrible mistake, but Jace ignored the noise. He knew the war had changed everything. Strength was not just muscle or weapons. It was something deeper. Syrah held a secret that could change the fate of the galaxy. As the ship moved toward Earth, Jace prepared for the challenges ahead. He would protect Syrah not because she was weak, but because he believed in her hidden strength. The stars outside glittered, cold and bright, and the story of the human soldier and the frail alien princess was only just beginning. The ship Resolute sailed through the black ocean of space. Commander Jace Thorne sat in the pilot chair, eyes sharp on the stars ahead. Beside him, the pale Princess Syrah remained quiet, her eyes often fixed on distant galaxies. Days passed since the war ended, and Jace chose her as his reward. The crew still whispered about it. Many thought she was weak, useless. But Jace saw something no one else did. Syrah did not speak much. When she did, her voice was soft and slow. She ate little and spent much time alone. She seemed tired, almost like she was carrying a heavy secret. Jace understood her silence. He never pushed her to talk. Instead, he gave her space and kindness. One afternoon, Jace found her standing in the ship's small garden room. It was a place where plants from many planets grew bright green leaves and colorful flowers. Syrah's pale fingers touched the leaves gently. "Do you like this place?" Jace asked quietly. Syrah nodded slowly. "It reminds me of home," she whispered. Jace smiled. "We'll find your home again one day." Syrah looked at him with eyes full of sadness. "I don't remember much. Only ... fire and stars screaming." Jace's heart tightened. He wanted to help her remember, but he also wanted to protect her. That night, the ship's alarm suddenly rang. The crew rushed to their stations. Jace stood in the command room, eyes sharp. Unknown ship approaching, the sensor officer said. "No signal, no identification." Jace frowned. "Are they hostile?" "We don't know yet." Syrah watched silently from the side. The unknown ship came closer. Suddenly, it sent a beam of energy toward the Resolute. The ship shook violently. Power faltered. "Shields down," the engineer shouted. Jack grabbed the control stick. "Hands! Prepare for battle." The crew worked fast to repair the systems. Syrah did not run or hide. Instead, she moved toward the control panel. Her hands glowed faint blue. The strange light spread to the ship's systems. Suddenly, the energy beam stopped. The shields recharged. The attacking ship moved away quickly. The crew stared at Syrah in shock. Jace looked at her, surprised. "How did you do that?" Syrah blinked. "I don't know, it came from inside me." Jace nodded slowly. "You have power. Power that can help us all." In the days that followed, Syrah's strange powers grew stronger. She could feel the ship's systems and gently fix small problems by touching the controls. She learned to sense danger before the alarm sounded. The crew began to respect her. Saw she was not weak. One evening, Jace and Syrah sat on the ship's deck, looking at the stars. "Tell me about your family," Jace said softly. Syrah looked away. "They do not understand me. They think I am broken." Jace shook his head. "Sometimes People fear what they do not understand. But fear is not truth. Sira smiled faintly. You see me differently? Jace reached out and took her hand. Because I believe in you. Suddenly, Sira's eyes glowed with a bright blue light. She gasped. I did not mean to. Jace held her hand steady. It's okay. You are learning. This is who you are. One night, Sira sat alone in the small room at the back of the ship. She drew glowing symbols in the air. With her fingers, the symbols floated and shone, moving like living things. Suddenly, the door opened quietly. Jace stepped inside. He watched her silently for a moment. What are those? He asked. Sira looked at him, eyes wide. I don't know. They come to me when I am quiet. Jace smiled. Maybe they are your memories, trying to find a way out. Sira nodded slowly. Want to remember, but it scares me. Jace sat beside her. Sometimes the past is hard, but it can also be the key to your future. The ship's sensors suddenly detected a large group of ships closing in. Jace stood up. Prepare for possible attack. Sira's eyes glowed brighter. She moved to the control panel. With a gentle touch, she sent a wave of energy that masked the Resolute's signals. The enemy ships slowed and stopped. The crew cheered quietly. Jace looked at Sira proudly. You saved us again. Sira smiled shyly. Days turned into weeks as the Resolute traveled toward Earth. Jace and Sira grew closer. The crew learned to trust the silent princess. Sira's strength was no longer hidden. It shone quietly but clearly. One day, Jace sat with Sira in the garden room. Why? Did you choose me? Sira asked suddenly. Jace looked at her seriously. Because I saw strength in your heart. Because sometimes the weakest appear that way only to hide the greatest power. Sira's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. Jace smiled softly. We will face what comes together. The stars outside glimmered as the ship moved forward. The journey had only begun. The Resolute finally reached Earth after weeks of travel through deep space. Commander Jace Thorne stood on the landing deck, watching as Earth's blue and green world grew larger. The ship's crew prepared to deliver Princess Sarah to the Earth. Science Counselor group of experts and leaders who studied alien life and technology, Jace knew they would be curious about. Sira, more than curious, they would want answers. Who was she really? What powers did she hold? And why had he chosen her as his reward? The landing was smooth. Earth's security forces greeted them with respect, but caution. Sira stayed close to Jace, quiet and pale as ever. The crowds whispered, some fearful, some hopeful. At the council's headquarters, scientists ran many tests on Sira. They scanned her body, studied her DNA, and measured her strange, glowing powers. One scientist, Dr. Mira Hansen, looked closely. At the DNA results, her eyes widened. Commander Thorne, this is ... impossible. Jace raised an eyebrow, explained. Dr. Hansen showed him the data on a glowing screen. Princess Sarah carries genes from an ancient race, the Elyari. They were thought extinct for millions of years. Jace frowned.
Elyari.
I've only heard legends. They were said to be godlike beings, Mira explained. They had powers beyond understanding. Their bloodline was believed lost when their homeworld was destroyed. Jace looked at Sira. She sat quietly, her eyes distant. This means she is not just a princess, Mira said. She is the last living heir of the Elyari. The room fell silent. News of Sira's bloodline leaked quickly. It reached the ears of the Zelari rebels groups that had opposed the king during the war. They wanted Sarah back, or dead. One dark night, rebel ships attacked Earth's orbital station where the council met. Explosions rocked the building. Alarms screamed. Jace grabbed Sira's arm. We must go. The council guards fought fiercely, but were outnumbered. Jace led Sira through dark halls, dodging falling debris and flashing lights. Suddenly, a rebel soldier blocked their way. Jace stepped forward. Step aside, he said firmly. The soldier raised his weapon, but before he could fire, Sira's eyes flashed bright blue. A wave of energy exploded from her. The soldier was thrown back, unconscious. Jace stared, amazed. Your power is growing, he said. Sierra looked scared. I don't want to hurt anyone. Jace shook his head. Power is a tool. You choose how to use it. The council was divided. Some wanted to keep Sierra safe and learn from her. Others wanted to use her power as a weapon in future wars. Jace refused to let anyone control her. He and Sierra escaped the council building with the help of a few loyal soldiers. They became fugitives. Jace and Sierra hid in an old research base on a distant moon. The base was full of ancient technology left by the Elyari. Sierra explored the base. Her powers grew stronger here. She could hear whispers in the air, memories of her ancestors. One day, Sierra found a hidden chamber. Inside was a glowing crystal pulsing with energy. She touched it gently. Images flashed in her mind, visions of the Elyari's final days there. Battles. And a prophecy. The prophecy spoke of a star-blooded heir who would rise to bring peace or destruction. Jace joined her. Do you believe it's you? Sierra nodded slowly. I don't know if I am ready. Jace smiled. You don't have to be ready. You just have to be brave. The rebels tracked them down again. Another battle began on the moon's surface. Sierra's powers erupted. She controlled the wind, the ground, and even light itself. But each time she used her power, she grew weaker afterwards. During the fight, she accidentally hurt a young soldier trying to protect them. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. I didn't mean to, she whispered. Jace held her gently. It's okay. You are learning. Mistakes don't make you weak. Sierra looked into his eyes. Thank you for believing in me. Jace smiled. We are stronger together. As the fight ended, the rebels retreated. Jace and Sierra stood together, ready for what was next. The universe was watching. The fragile princess was no longer just a reward. She was a force that could change everything. The hidden moon where Commander Jace Thorn and Princess Sarah took shelter was quiet and cold. It was a forgotten place, covered in silver dust and ancient ruins that glowed faintly under the stars. The ruins were from the Elyari, the lost godlike race in Sierra's blood. Jace stood beside Sierra at the edge of a broken temple. The soft light from the ruins flickered on her pale face. Her eyes shone with a new strength. We cannot hide forever, Jace said. They will find us. Sierra nodded. Slowly, I am ready to face them. Jace looked at her closely. Are you sure? This power inside you? ... It is dangerous. Sierra smiled faintly. Power is only dangerous if you are afraid of it. I have learned to accept it. The prophecy they found in the ruins was clear. The star-blooded heir would awaken the Elyar legacy and decide the fate of the galaxy. But it also spoke of a bond between the heir and the heart of a warrior. Jace realized the prophecy meant both him and Sierra. They were connected, two halves of a force greater than either alone. Sierra touched his arm gently. We must trust each other. Jace nodded. Always their peace was short-lived. The Elyari. Rebels and corrupt human forces had formed an uneasy alliance. Both wanted Sierra's power for themselves. A new war was coming. The first battle erupted near the moon's orbit. Ships flashed bright laser beams through the black sky. Explosions shook the space around them. Jace and Sierra prepared to fight. Sierra's power surged like a storm inside her. She lifted rocks and sent beams of light toward the enemy ships. But each time, she used her power. She felt weaker afterward. Jace fought bravely beside her, leading the ground forces against enemy troops. During a fierce moment, Jace was hit by a powerful blast. He fell to the ground, injured. Sierra rushed to him. Fear and anger burning in her eyes, she closed her eyes and focused all her energy. A bright blue light burst from her hands, healing Jace's wounds. The battle stopped as everyone stared in awe. Sierra's powers were real and strong. But now, they were also known. The war spread quickly. More ships and soldiers arrived. Jace and Sierra had to keep moving, fighting to protect each other. Sierra learned to control her powers better. She found that her strength came from accepting her feelings. not hiding them. She laughed for the first time in years during a quiet moment with Jace. "You make me feel alive," she said softly. Jace smiled, "And you make me believe in hope." The enemies did not give up. They wanted to capture Syrah alive. One night, the rebel forces launched a surprise attack on their camp. Jace and Syrah fought side by side, sky lit with fire and energy. Syrah's power shone brighter than ever. She created shields of light that protected their people. At the battle's peak, Jace was nearly killed again, but Syrah's quick healing saved him. Together, they pushed back the enemy. After the battle, Syrah and Jace stood among the ruins. Tired but unbroken. "We cannot win by fighting alone," Jace said. "We need others to believe in peace." Syrah nodded. "Then we must show them a new way." The ancient ruins whispered their secrets as the stars watched silently. The war they tried to stop was far from over. But together, the human soldier and the alien princess were ready to change the fate of the galaxy. The United Galactic Assembly was filled with leaders from many worlds. The Grand Hall was bright and buzzing with voices.
All eyes were on Princess Syrah
And Commander Jace Thorn. The war between humans and Zelari had left many wounds. Both sides wanted control over Syrah's power. Some leaders wanted to use her to build armies. Others hoped she could bring peace. But Syrah and Jace stood together, ready to speak their truth. Syrah stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. "I am not a prize to be owned. I am a living being with a choice." The hall grew silent. No one expected the frail princess to speak with such courage. "I carry the blood of the Elyari," she said. "Their power is great, but so is their pain. We can choose a future of war or peace. Choose peace." Jace stood beside her, proud and steady. "We refuse to be weapons. We refuse to be tools for war." Suddenly, chaos erupted. A group of radicals opposed to peace fired weapons into the hall. Jace pushed Syrah down, shielding her with his body. He was hit by a blast, falling to the floor. Syrah's eyes glowed bright blue as she rushed to heal him. Light spread through the hall, calming the angry crowd. Leaders watched in awe as Syrah healed Jace before their eyes. After the attack, the assembly was shaken but listening. Syrah spoke again. "If we fight each other, we all lose. But if we unite, we can build a future where all species live in peace." Her words touched many hearts. Slowly, leaders began to agree. A new treaty was proposed, one that respected all races and promised cooperation. Jace and Syrah became symbols of hope for the galaxy. Months later, peace talks continued. Syrah and Jace worked together to heal old wounds. They visited war-torn planets, helping rebuild and teach. Syrah's powers grew, not just in strength, but in kindness. She showed the galaxy that true power comes from heart and courage. One evening, under the stars, Syrah and Jace stood together. He looked at her with a soft smile. "You were never weak," he said. She smiled back, "And you saw the strength inside me when no one else did." Their hands found each other's. The galaxy was changing because a human soldier chose the frailest alien princess, and together, they rewrote fate.